In this film, we're going to show you how to lay a sheet vinyl floor. With the right approach, sheet vinyl flooring is quite easy to lay, and for most rooms you'll only need one piece of sheet vinyl for the whole floor. For this task, we're going to wear knee pads because we'll be spending quite a bit of time on our knees. You'll need to use a utility knife, so make sure it has a sharp blade. Keep the blade covered or retracted when it's not in use. When you're making your cuts, do it in such a way that you won't injure yourself if the knife slips. First, give your floor a thorough sweep or vacuum. If your existing floor has been treated with a wood preservative, it's unlikely to be suitable for covering with sheet vinyl. Check the manufacturer's instructions. Make sure the surface is free from any protruding objects such as nails or screw heads or dust and debris. This is particularly important because even the smallest pieces of debris or protrusion will show through. Use a hammer and a nail punch to punch any nail heads below the surface of the floor. Any oil, grease, bituminous compounds or solvent-based material should be removed using a suitable cleaning or removal agent. Concrete floors must also be free from damp. There's a simple method to test for this, and here's how you do it. Place a piece of polythene approximately 1 square metre in size onto the floor and seal around the edge using adhesive tape. Leave it overnight. Any trace of moisture underneath the polythene indicates dampness, which must be rectified before the floor is tiled. If your existing floor is damaged or uneven, you will achieve a much better finish if you level the floor first. See our films How to Level a Wooden Floor and How to Level a Concrete Floor for guidance on how to do this. Now you need to measure the room. First, measure and record the length and the width of the room. Make sure you're accurate about this and include any alcoves. Measure right up to the centre of any doorways as well. Now add 75mm to each edge to allow for final trimming and cutting. You now have the measurements that you need to be able to buy the sheet vinyl. Before laying your vinyl, unroll it in the room you're going to fit it in and leave it for 24 hours to acclimatise. If you have underfloor heating, also turn that off 24 hours before you lay your vinyl. Now rough lay the vinyl and adjust it so that it fits as closely as possible, allowing for the 75mm excess. With obstacles like a toilet or sink pedestal, you'll need to cut around them. We'll show you the process of doing this with this sink pedestal. Cut a series of slits in the vinyl around the pedestal with a utility knife. The first cut should be where the vinyl meets the pedestal. This is followed by cuts at regular intervals that are angled towards the first cut. You need to do this on both sides of the pedestal. Press the vinyl down and fold the flaps up around the pedestal. The flaps at the back of the pedestal should neatly meet. Trim the excess with the knife to make a perfect fit. Continue to work around the room using the same method with each obstacle you come to. Once you've cut around your obstacles, you then need to work around the room trimming the edges. Where you have a long straight cut to make, use a vinyl cutter which will give you a nice clean finished edge. Avoid making a join in any wet areas like a bathroom, as water might get underneath it and damage the vinyl. All sheet vinyl flooring needs to be stuck to the floor. Some types of sheet vinyl need to be fully bonded to the floor using an appropriate vinyl flooring adhesive that is either sprayed onto the floor or spread across it using a notched adhesive trowel. Other types of sheet vinyl only need to be bonded at the perimeter and at any join using double-sided vinyl floor tape. Typically, cushion type sheet vinyl only needs to be bonded at the perimeter, and non-cushion sheet vinyl needs to be fully bonded. But you should always check the manufacturer's instructions. The sheet vinyl we're using only needs a perimeter bond, so our next task is to fix the double-sided tape to the floor ready for final laying. If your floor's surface is smooth, completely dust-free and non-porous, you can stick the double-sided tape straight onto the floor. Most floors aren't like this, so we're going to use this spray adhesive under the tape as well to get adhesion to the floor. First, read the instructions and safety information on the can. Then spray the adhesive along the edge of the floor, taking care not to spray it onto the walls. Then stick the tape to the floor around the edges of the room without removing the backing paper. Use a small block of wood and run along the top of the tape to make sure it's firmly fixed. Repeat for the other edges and put some tape around the base and pedestal and any other obstructions. Now we're ready to lay the sheet vinyl into position and fix it in place. Working around the room, lift each edge. Remove the backing paper from the top of the double-sided tape and then push the sheet vinyl firmly onto the tape. Well, that's the bulk of the job done. We just need to think about the finishing touches. If, like us, you're laying the sheet vinyl in a bathroom or similar wet area, you could seal the joint between the sheet vinyl and the wall with a sanitary grade silicone sealant. Make sure that the sealant tube nozzle is cut at a slight angle and is cut to have the right size hole. The bigger the gap, the bigger the hole needs to be. Start at one end and move along in one continuous movement, maintaining a steady pressure and speed. To smooth the sealant, you can use a sealant shaper or a wet, soapy finger, but always remember to wear gloves. Another option is to fit a trim between the edge of the floor and the wall. Finish off your new floor by fitting a T-bar or threshold bar in the doorway to make a neat join between the new floor and the flooring in the next room. And that's the job done. A beautiful new vinyl floor. For more ideas and know-how, visit DIY.com.